Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? It is summer transfer Muppetry season. Guess what? Manchester United, hot start. Signing players left, right, and center, sir. Embarrassing our rivals in the transfer market with our new front office, Richard Arnold. Coup after coup. Names you never heard of, up-and-coming players on the cheap, free transfers, shipping those bloated wages in the books. Psych! None of that's happened, sir.
What do you say?
Rivals are strengthening. We haven't signed a single player. How are we feeling?
Manchester United. Where do I begin? This club I love so much. It's, look, it's only, gotta go glass half full. Only like a week and a half into the transfer window. So there's a lot of business to be done. But then on the other side of the coin, we have 20 days until we start preseason. Ten Hag wants the business done early. He came in early and supposedly was working with Murtaugh and everyone to get the deals done. De Jong is dragging. Eriksen, it's up in the air. And then I hear we're basically going to figure it out from there, which doesn't sound like a great plan. Ralph Rangnick said it. Open heart surgery, 10 players. And if you needed 10, you probably should have 3 by now. I would have liked to see us come out of the gate with a plan that we're executing, and it's in process. Right now it seems same old. We got a big name. Ten Hag wants them, and we're haggling. And again, I think our second offer was rebuffed by Barca. They want it fully paid. And we're just twiddling our thumbs and wasting time. And at the end of the day, you just got to get the deals done. Now, do I think we should be paying 80 million euros for Frankie de Jong? I do not. But if Ten Hag wants him, Murtaugh, you got to do the business. So as far as Manchester United fans, not a lot to be hyped about right now, especially after we finished last season. You thought we would have a little extra oomph behind us. Richard Arnold, Murtaugh, the whole new structure, the restructuring that they were spin zoning. You thought they would come out and deliver early and often. That's what they needed to do, and it's fading. And Arnold's at the pub sweating, like literally nervous, talking to Faye, like worried, like it just does. Right now, United. Sorry, let's get the green and gold out. That's all we need right now. Hashtag Glazers out. That's where we should be focusing our efforts because they're sweating. Keep up the pressure. That's what this is all about.
They're sweating. We're sweating. It's hot in the pod room. It's hot in California. It's hot everywhere from people I've spoken to across my team. And you know what? Manchester United fans, we're sweating. The CEO, Richard Arnold, he was at the pub. He was sweating. But like you said, a lot of work needed to be done. You'd like to have a hot start. And it feels like a lot of the same. If we want to go after Frankie de Jong, that's fine. But this idea that we're going to kind of drag transfers out and they're going to meet us halfway unless we're willing to kind of punt until the following transfer window like we did with Sancho, I just don't think it's going to happen. Barcelona need to clear out money. They need to raise money in order to kind of obligate certain financial requirements imposed on them by La Liga. So, they're not going to budge. And if we want them, let's just get it done. Other clubs, they don't do this. There's none of this saga unless it's like the trying to sign Mbappe. Otherwise, a club wants a player wants the club. They get it done. They hash it out. I hate to use our rival, but Scouse bastards, they've already locked up a replacement before they even sold Mane, which got confirmed today. And we need to have a little bit more of that proactive mentality. The evolution, the revolution, whatever it is, it's happening slow. And you know what? TikTok, because I think the players are back within 2 weeks before they head off to Southeast Asia for the tour. But you know what? So far, it's not a great sign. It looks like more of the same under Richard Arnold, a continuation of the Ed Woodward era. So what do you expect? They haven't really changed anything. It's just a different name. Same ill-fitting suit, worse beard, but slow start to the summer window, sir. But this is the Muppetry world we live in.
Football transfers 101, going to take him to school. John Murtaugh, the guy has no experience, and we've talked about it. Ed Woodward, Arnold mentioned at the pub, hey, you want me signing players? He was implying that Woodward did all the player signings, and obviously a huge marketing component. He can only focus on one big deal. You get the big name, splash it on social media, and we move like a ocean tanker. We're not nimble. We're not getting the free deals. We're not being opportunistic. You look at January, you look at how many class midfielders were on a free. You need to snipe one of those, knowing this summer Pogba's going to leave, knowing Matic is going to leave. You have to be making deals that make strategic sense for Manchester United. What does Murtaugh do? The director of football with no experience, he's going back to the Ed Woodward playbook. If you're Manchester United and you have a lot of business to do, you need to line it up. You need to line up the key positions. First and foremost, you need to do those deals and then be opportunistic as things open up. As soon as you start these transfer sagas back and forth, then everyone, if you say no to Frankie, then the next midfielder, he just went up by 15. That's just how it's going to work. We're just the worst at negotiating. You need to pay full ticket for Frankie, then get Eriksen in, sort the midfield, and then you can be opportunistic at right back, striker, winger, whatever you want to do. You got to cover your weaknesses and then be opportunistic to try to get people on a free, loans, etc. We have a lot of work to do. We should be much more nimble. Again, we're doing the Ed Woodward playbook, slow, just drag it out, not get anything done. And that's why, and also we can't do multiple deals at the same time. Another thing we need to be talking about in this podcast, it's absolutely crazy, but why are we whinging about this? Because the only reason why this club is this dysfunctional and the front office has people with no experience in it is because of the Glazers. It always comes down to the Glazers. The reason why the stadium looks like shit, the reason why the training facility looks like shit, the reason why Richard Arnold's like nervous meeting fans at the pub and explaining to them that we don't have any money, it's the Glazers. The Glazers got to go. It's the number one priority for fans. I'm sick of this shit, honestly. It's a bunch of numpties running the show. I mean, it's just, at this point, that's what I need to focus on because I could go all day.
We could go all day on the Glazers. We are Glazer out, first and foremost. That is the problem. Hopefully, assuming a new owner is a benevolent owner and comes in with the right intentions, things will get better because they're going to see that there's no expertise left at the front office of Manchester United. There's nobody there that's qualified. Ed Woodward wasn't qualified to be a CEO of Manchester United. Richard Arnold isn't qualified, so why would there be any kind of deviation or step up in terms of the quality we're expected in terms of their ability to put together a top-tier football club? So this was a great opportunity for Richard Arnold to establish a new presence in the market, and what we're seeing is the same shit. Pick a big name, haggle for weeks and weeks, drag it out. I think they like that because it gets in.
No, I don't think they like it, but they're falling into
Barcelona's.
Barcelona knows we need this position.
And they know we're going to pay.
And they know we're going to pay because we have a history of paying because we're bad. And we don't. You need a smoke screen. Rule number one, you need a smoke screen. Barcelona has to believe you could be buying somebody else, but instead we've telegraphed to everyone we want Frankie. They're going to demand top dollar. It's early in the window. They can make us sweat. It hurts us. I mean, this is negotiation 101. I mean, we grew up in New Jersey. It's like, come on, this is easy stuff.
Let's go,
Murtaugh. But the whole point is we need world-class footballing people who know that game and can run that game at Manchester United and get some quality players in so we can deliver for Erik ten Hag. That's a huge issue, that Erik ten Hag, once again, virus protection. If you haven't updated it,
get it updated
because it will chime on the pod every time. Quick PSA for the podcast. So perfect break there. We got our end of the season survey out. It is pinned on our Twitter profile. If you click on the link, please give us some feedback on the podcast. We do it every year. Helps us get better. If you can believe it, we are trying to get better every single year. And also, if you fill it out, enter your email, and you can win $100 in American Red Devil swag, scarves, hoodies, blankets, the whole lot. So please check it out and fill it out. We read every single response. Cheeky banter, welcome as well. Sign up for our Discord as well. We have that on our website. We have an invite to our Discord channel. We have over 700 Muppets on there chatting about United and transfer stuff. It's popping right now. Even though there are no transfers, it is a great scene. Please check it out. Invite on our website, www.americanreddevils.com. Also, check out our Patreon page, best way to support the podcast. You can visit www.patreon.com/AmericanRedDevils. We don't have any commercial sponsors. We are supported by you guys, the fans. Big shout out to Chris Taylor and Dallas as well. And Felix upgraded his Patreon membership. So you guys are the real MVPs. Thank you so much for going the extra mile, keeping the lights on here in the bunker. We can't afford AC yet, so we're just going to sweat all summer. I think it's 90 degrees out. and we're in a adjacent room to Alex's garage, and we're sweating right now.
It's not highly ventilated. We don't have the cool bay breeze coming in the windows because we're working hard for the money to keep this pod going. Appreciate the Patreon members that go the extra mile. People, another way to go the extra mile is write a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to the American Red Devils podcast. We are still sending out merch because, honestly, it's a great way to help us get found organically by other top Reds like yourself. All you have to do, write a 5-star review wherever you listen to this great podcast and send a screenshot to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address. And I'll personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear, even if you've done a review before. I won't tell nobody. Don't worry. Their systems aren't that smart. They can pick up on that. I'll send you some more merch. Great way to help us get found organically without spending a single dollar of your hard-earned money. Sir.
Last part of the Sweatathon, you should visit www.americanreddevils.com as well. We have a store and awesome fan-generated blog content. And I'm sure you know that because we are for fans by fans. That is what this is all about. We're going to get into it here, sir.
Speaking of sweating.
Speaking of sweating, we're going to start it off here. All right, a little loud there, a little loud. We did get a comment here that the soundboard was too loud sometimes. Richie goes to the bar, sir. Apparently, Richard Arnold, he went to a pub to meet some fans. They were going to go protest outside of his house. Richard Arnold, this guy's so smart. He said, you know what? I'm going to meet them at the pub.
I'll meet the protest.
I'm going to meet the protest so they can't protest at my house. I mean, I wouldn't want protesters at my house.
No.
So
get used to it. Get used to it. You know what?
My move would be get in the car with my family and drive away before the protesters come. But Richard thinks that he's so smart. He can convince these guys stop protesting. You know, protesting hurts the club. You know, it's not good for business here.
Did he give off a position of strength? Did he come out throwing punches, saying, "Listen, this is the mandate I've been given. We're gonna change things really"? He sounded like a man in the hot seat, sweating like we are in this pod room. And also, you know what? We'll talk about it a little bit later. But as a CEO of a publicly traded company, you think he'd be shit canned by now if this was in the U.S.
No, totally. We'll get into the whole like he's a public company CEO as well. So right now we're gonna go to the first clip of Richard Arnold at the pub. Now, think of what someone who's nervous sounds like, and here's Richie.
And that was we spent £1 billion on players over the last 10 years. We spent more than anyone in Europe. But I believe, I'm not thrilled where we are. Right? It doesn't sit easy. I worry. Right, we've got to get this sorted for the future. But what's happened is we fucking burned through cash on. You can't go and you can't go to our training ground and say, by the way, show me where that £1 billion is in, because I don't think we've done well with the money we've spent historically. Yeah. But I'm not here to defend Joel or the Shells. He must speak for himself, right? I wanted to talk to you. You've taken the time and energy to come here to make your views known. I respect that. And we've blown through an enormous amount of money. For this summer, the money that the manager and the director of football wants is there, right? For the future, for investing in a new stadium and that sort of stuff, to do a latest and greatest £250 million training ground. Okay, we've got to do something. We've got to get investors in. And again, I need that to do what I want for the club. Right? I've got to have more cash than we have now, because a new stadium, no stadium and no club in the world has the money to do a new stadium without getting it from someone. No one generates that. You either borrow it or someone invests it, right? And so
Spurs on a mortgage, 800 million.
Spurs got £1 billion mortgage, right? So the money's got to come from somewhere, and you may not like our current owners. Okay, I can't help that. But if you want someone else to come in, they have to look and say, okay, the fans love the club, they love the team, it's positive. Because the other bit is, I look at that. Last year was a fucking nightmare, right? It was a nightmare. I was hating every game. There's a couple of things. One, protests.
Protests.
Hey, protesting.
I mean, this guy is sweating, dude. You like the body language.
CEO of a
stream of consciousness. First of all, CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, rambling, just rambling. They ain't saying nothing. He's just talking at him. And this is like you can get into the whole like public disclosure angle of it, and we'll cover that later. In this clip, he says, "I do not have the cash. I don't We do not have enough cash.
We need investors.
We need investors. You have owners. We have owners, right? There's a balance sheet. It's a company. You can raise capital, right? You can sell stock. You can raise cash. But the Glazers have sold stock and put it in their own pocket. It's called a secondary offering. They can sell that same amount of stock and then put $200 million into the Manchester United balance sheet and build a new training facility. Joel Glazer sold $100 million and put it in his own pocket. That is the actions that we need to be talking about. I wish I was there so I can tell him, because at the end of the day, they hide behind all this stuff. To say, oh, we spent £1 billion. You spent $1 billion of cash flow.
Of Manchester United's money. You didn't
Exactly.
put $1 billion
The
in.
Glazers have taken out so much more as far as interest payments, dividends, and the secondary stock offerings. When Manchester United went public, all the money from the initial public offering, it didn't go to Manchester United to build a better stadium or buy players. It went to the Glazers' pockets. They are selling off this club piece by piece, peeling it back. Everything he says is insane. And the number one point that makes me so mad is he said, oh, if you want new owners, someone has to look at it and be like, the fans have to like the club. Like, protesting is bad. He said that. He literally says, if you want someone to buy you, they're going to want to make sure the fans like the club.
Like, there's any
That's
question about that.
insanity right
Like,
there.
there's any question about the loyalty, devotion, and admiration that Manchester United fans have for this fucking club. The reason we want to drive these snakes out of the club that have been here for almost 2 decades now is because they have nothing but just like malice and contempt for Manchester United as an entity and for the fans. Like, they couldn't give a shit about the fans. You see his demeanor. The one thing he can tell is, like, I don't think he's got much respect for the Glazers just as business people, because they don't have a lot of, intrinsic value in just how they've treated this club as a business, because they've taken money out left, right, and center. But like you said, he's just kind of rambling. He's not even kind of like keeping it within a pretty tight.
He's trying to say, oh, it costs a lot of money to have a nice stadium. Oh,
We need investors.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
it. We need
And,
investors.
we've wasted a lot of money. And it's like, who wasted a lot of money? The Glazers gave that £1 billion to Ed Woodward. Why did they let Ed Woodward spend the £1 billion? Well, because he was doing well on the commercial side of the business, and they didn't give a you-know-what about the football side of the business. So the Glazers were the owners who picked Ed Woodward and backed him and gave him that money and looked the other way when the team was going to shit, because they don't care about that. They care about the dividend, making money. And so the blame falls with the owners. Richard Arnold's trying to deflect and then make fans feel bad for protesting
Don't
this
protest.
horrible
Don't make my job harder.
ownership scheme. So
We got more. We got more of this
We
guy.
have-
We got more Richie at the pub.
we have way more of Richie going to the pub. Okay, this one is like, he's talking about De Jong. Unfortunately, this is the one that gets the most kind of views and clicks when people should be talking about how nervous he is. He doesn't look right. This isn't like a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. You wake up,
Doesn't look like Tim Cook.
you should be meditating, should be exercising. You shouldn't be rambling at a bar with some fans here.
And again, money is not a consideration in who we want. It is the manager wants him. That they've actually done the work on looking at it. He's a great player. And again, is it 100? Is it 200? I don't know. They've got to get who you
What, is he
fucking
going
want.
to be down on top of this 200?
Right?
Is he going to be down
No,
on this 200?
again, should you not? Do you want me buying the players? Doesn't that ring a bell? Right? I do.
So we have plenty of money to buy players.
Psych.
It's
like
he's talking like
he looks pretty. He looks pretty all over the place.
We have 100 million, 200 million. We have plenty of money to buy players. Well, and then the guy says, "Is there debt?" And he glosses over that. Is that going to be debt? Are you going to add debt onto the club? The whole point that we have as fans is the Glazers are not investing in the team. They're not taking money. They're not making smart business decisions within Manchester United and spending Manchester United's cash flow wisely, aka like he referenced the $1 billion. And they're not putting money in or raising capital to invest in the long-term future of Manchester United, which would be new stadium. That would benefit the brand, benefit the club over the long term. They're not making those decisions. So all he's trying to do is give red meat to the fans and say, we can get whoever we want. Really? I look at the financials. We had 96 million in cash last quarter. We don't have that much money. So yeah, it is going to be debt. It's going to be on the credit card if we want to buy players. We ain't selling any money for any amount of money, and we only have 96 million in cash. The financial situation is like gravity. You can't make it up. You could structure the deals. What are we doing with De Jong? We're structuring De Jong. We haven't bought him. Why? We have all this money. Money's not a problem, but we have to structure it over time because we can't pay up front. But money's not a problem, right?
So the look
This is
at his
all
face,
lies.
the look at his face is like, I should have never come to the pub. That's what I see. I say, like, as bad as it is to have people protesting at your house with your family there, I'm sure that's not fun. But at the same time, he's like, this is not going that well. I'm telling too much. I hope they're not recording this. Richie Goes to the Pub, part 3. What else you got, Richie?
I was hating every game.
A fucking nightmare. That was the
One,
best.
protest. Okay, protest to me. It's my job. I should take it, right? Protest to the owners. The sponsors have put money into our club. They shouldn't get punished, right? What have they done wrong? Right? They put money in to help the
see
club.
our logic is if they pull out, it put pressure on Glazers. This is simple. I understand that.
But it's also does it really, right? Because you know what it was like in 2005, right? You know what it was like, and the pressure put on the owners not to buy the club. They did, right? They bought the club anyway. So if you want to think of them that way, they're rock hard. But it's not that they don't care. They don't care is the wrong word, but they're not frightened of people, right?
Yeah.
So does.
When you look how they are with the clubs in America, though, it's like they treat them totally different to how they are running this club.
And this is the bit where what's my job as CEO, right? Make sure John does his job on football. Get the fucking players in.
Yeah.
Money's there.
Yeah.
Okay, get on with it, John. Right, get yourself.
Again, to
Money's
say,
there. Money's there.
Money's there.
Money's
Money's
there.
there. Money's there. Like, you can say that all day. That don't mean nothing. Show me the sources and uses of funds. Show me exactly how you're going to do it. Show me. I could walk through the annual report with them and be like, hey, it says here that in the next 12 months you have 290 million in payables. How many of these are from old transfers that were coming due? How is that going to impact cash balance? Look at the debt. A lot of things about Manchester United are not right from a financial perspective, and he's coming to we got money. That's all he's got here. Oh, by the way, don't protest the sponsors because I'm feeling the heat.
And they
That's
give
all
us
that
money.
is. All that is like this conversation is so nuanced. He's interrupting him. He's just saying, hey, look, the fans like, hey, well, the way we see it is we tell the sponsors that the owners are horrible. We put pressure on them, and then they want to pull out, which obviously they do, which is probably why he's at the pub in the first place, because that's his job. He's getting pressure on the revenue side. We're hitting them on the money side, and that's why he's in this pub talking to him. At the end of the day, the protests are working. This club is on the ropes. He's on the ropes. The Glazers are on the ropes, and we need to keep up maximum pressure. This interview, like he's talking and the way he's talking, how nervous he is, does not happen if everything's going great at Manchester United. It ain't. And we said it. This summer is going to be a significant wake-up call for a lot of people, because you look at that balance sheet, you look at how fucked we were last season and how they're going to shove Tony Martial down Eric Ten Hag's throat. These fans, we're going to be done with this shit at the end of the day. We're done. And it's like, I can't believe it.
And the only recipe is more pressure. Like, you could tell
Yes.
based on how defensive he was about that point that it is working. It is effective strategy. The only thing they care about is money. And guess what? They're taking out their dividend again on Friday. The delta apparently between what Frankie is valued by Barcelona and what we're willing to offer is 12 to 15 million pounds or euros, depending on who you ask and who you talk to. Their dividend, I believe, on Friday is 12 million pounds, sir. So, like, any delta can be bridged by just like the greed of the Glazers, the continued greed. So keep the pressure on them. They are the problem. This guy is a front man. He shouldn't even be there because, you know what? He's probably not qualified to run a League One club based on his experience. That being said, I don't envy the poor bastard. Fuckers have showed up at your house. But at the end of the day, you're doing business with the devil because the Glazers are bad people. They're bad people front to back. They're the worst kind of people owning your club, and they've just shown nothing but contempt for the fans, the history, and everything that's great about Manchester United. So they should be driven out with pressure because, like you said, this window is going to be bad. It's not going to be a Louis van Gaal after we missed out on Champions League, get 200 million pounds pre-sales. It's like, we got nothing, dude. We got nothing doing. We haven't sold anybody. The only thing that has legs is we're going to do a Dean Henderson loan deal. No money, no commitment to buy, no option to buy. Sir, more of the same.
No, when we talk, so we got to go through, there's a few parts of this where people say, hey, the fans shouldn't have videotaped it and posted on the internet. Like, there's a bunch of like outrage, at least in England, around this. Like, you're gonna go meet people at a bar.
Right.
Whatever you say is on the public record.
Right.
Like, they're gonna tweet it out if they quoted you and tweeted it out. Whatever.
Five guys. You're not meeting one dude.
So like, yeah, like. People just want to attack the fans. Like, so there's a few different narratives that come out of this. It's like people want to make the fans feel bad. Then people also want to like spin zone and be like, oh, look at Richard Arnold. He's a man's man. He's going down to the pub, having a drink and telling it like it is. This man is a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation that is also publicly traded on the stock exchange. And I'll tell you what, that if you know any other billion-dollar companies that you invest your hard-earned money in, that if any of them was going down to the local pub and talking shit with people that didn't like your business and sharing way too much while boozing, by the way, it is a bad look. This is a bad look for Wall Street. You can't be talking about inside information, number one. You could talk about how the disclosure should be. This is not behavior for a CEO. If he wants to do it, it should be done at a fan forum where the people ask questions. They provide the answers. It has to be done in a public forum that's on the record. This whole impromptu meet up at a pub and drink some beers and tell fans we got money to sign players while you're looking like, my question is like, hey, Richard Arnold, you all right, bro? Like, you all right? You look a little like you're sweating too much. And guess what? I knew this was going to be the hot seat. I knew Woodward left you with nothing. And obviously the job you're doing is you're going to do the devil's bidding. You're going to be the one taking all the shit for the Glazers. You're the fall guy for the Glazers. You're going to disappoint all the fans of this great fucking story club. You're going to let us all down. You're going to enrich them, and you're going to watch this team just rot. And you're going to be in charge. And that's the fucking ticket. That's the job. And they're paying you for it. So don't pretend like you're this great guy who wants to like find other, like if we could only find these magical investors to give us a new stadium. It's like the owners have fucked us. The owners have fucked us for years. They've taken billions out. Woodward fucked us, and you're his number two, and now you're there and trying to make us feel sorry for you. It's like, it ain't gonna work. It's like the whole body of work has been over the last decade. It's there for everyone to see, and you were a part of it the entire time. So like, there you go. So don't pretend like you're this Mr. Nice guy who's like, oh, shucks, we're in this bad situation and we're going to do everything we can. It's like, no. You're doing the Glazers bidding. You're ruining the greatest football club in the world, and we are watching it live. And by the way, you need to get a rest.
Yeah, get some sleep, get some exercise, drink some vegetables. And the real thing is, you were Ed Woodward's number two. Like, he took over in 2013 when Gill stepped down, went to the FA, and Fergie retired, and they were in a great situation then. We were high-flying United. Okay, the squad needed to be rebuilt, but there was money to spend, and they fucking blew through it. And every transfer, we're talking about the Frankie transfer, every transfer that's kind of smelled like this before, we've always paid what they've asked. We paid what Juventus asked for Paul Pogba.
Sancho,
we waited a window and then paid what they asked in that window. Maguire, we paid full bucket, £80 million for that.
And it doesn't matter. You can pay the money.
But you always do it. So just don't waste time.
But you bought Maguire after Mourinho wanted the defender. They've done it too late. They haven't replace the players they've bought. There's a lot of behavior that shows they didn't know what they were doing over time. And yes, he was a part of that. And now he's coming into the CEO role. But I'm asking the fans, you really think that the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company should be like grabbing beers with fans, acting that nervous, and you think everything behind him is going great? My view on this is, holy shit, the protests are working. Holy shit, the sponsors are fucking breathing down his neck. He's getting it all day from every angle. Everyone's pissed. And guess what? He's the fall guy. That's why you're getting all the money that you're getting. Because you're there to take all the shit from the sponsors, take all the shit from the fans, and literally kick that dividend to the Glazers and make sure the club doesn't run out of money and watch it just sink into the ground. That is your job. So don't try to pretend to me that you like feel bad about it. It's like you sold your soul to the devil. And he says, oh, money's there, money's there. You know why I know the money's there? Because we got $5 million to upgrade Carrington.
$5 million.
£5 million is going to Carrington. We got plenty of money. There's plenty of money to go around because we have $5 million to put new tiling on the pool at Carrington. That is the type of work he is doing as the CEO of Manchester United. Nothing. You say, oh, we need investors? Go get them. Go get investors to put $100 million into Carrington. Oh wait, the Glazers won't give up that stake.
Yeah, they ain't
Because they
diluting.
want to take it and put it in their pocket.
They're not getting
That's
diluted.
the fucking problem at Manchester United is the Glazers have enriched themselves and not invested in this club. So don't come down to the pub and try to say, oh, they're rock hard. Oh, they're such great people. Oh, this and that. It's like not a chance. I can see through all your bullshit. And if you sat down with someone like me, I'm happy to record it and make him look like a freaking idiot. I just hate how he tries to manipulate the fans and tell them the protests are why new owners won't want Manchester United. That's complete bullshit from every single angle. And I'll tell you what, this fires me up because it shows me that this club is, sir, you can say whatever you want. This club is, we're in it. We're in the shitter. Like we are in the shitter. This guy's running us. This is all you got. Like,
What do you
This
think? If this is the CEO of this football club, what about our director of football? You think John Murtaugh will give you a lot of confidence? What about our technical director? I love Darren Fletcher as a player, but what the fuck is he doing?
He's
in front
blaming
office?
Woodward, blaming
Makes no
Murtaugh.
sense.
Like, you
And
know?
he's carrying the bag because United has never been in a worse financial situation in the modern era, at least since the Premier League started. They have never been closer to the top, and at the same time, the competition has never been higher. There are like literally upstarts breathing down our neck. Spurs are making moves in the transfer market. They look like they're locked on for fourth spot next year, and you're putting it all behind a manager who you're not even going to get the players that he's going to need to succeed. So I'm with you. This guy does not really he doesn't instill a lot of confidence that he's the top guy to bring us to the next level. It's all about getting the Glazers out. As simple as that. We will never succeed as a football club until Avram and Joel Glazer and the rest of that awful family decide to sell this club. My only thing that makes me hopeful is like the impending global recession that is coming on.
That makes me hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, it does make me hopeful.
I don't think it's impending, but
jacking up interest
it's
rates.
not going to be good for
maybe
the
it's
value.
recession.
They're not going to sell. That's the whole point. Is they're not going to sell for a lower ticket. That's the whole. If they're not going to sell for $4 billion, and then there's going to be a slowdown, and then the valuation goes down, they're not going to sell. They're not. The fans need to hit them in the wallet. It's got to go to the sponsors. The sponsors got to cancel. Money's got to be going away, and they got to see the writing on the wall that if we keep owning this thing, it's going into the ground, and they got to get out. That's the only way. That's the only way is we got to protest.
Let's go, baby, all the way to championship. I would gladly let's get relegated, and then
Start with Europa League, then we could go down to the championship. All right, that is huge news. You do for a club like this.
They haven't interviewed in person in like 20 years. Like no one's done a real interview other than like with Neil Ashton talking about how great we are. So this is a big step because it wasn't intentional.
No,
He
but they're
didn't
feeling it. I
voluntarily.
can tell you if you can't listen to that audio and
you know
see
he's
that man is
dying.
feeling the heat. But as a fan, I want a CEO that can handle the heat. And he doesn't look like a guy who's built for this right now.
No.
He doesn't look like a guy I'd be backing my cash on to turn around this great club. Speaking of turn around this great club, let's get in the transfer muppetry. We're gonna play a clip from Sky Sports, to get you up to date. This was aired 2 days ago. Talks about Eriksen and De Jong. Take it from Sky Sports, not from the Muppets on the side of the couch here.
And with that in mind, two of the players I want to talk about just now very quickly, Christian Eriksen is one that they are very, very interested in. Long-term admirer of Erik ten Hag. Initial contact has been made with Eriksen's representatives, and there is a feeling that a deal is there to be done. However, I think there is a deal to be done with a number of clubs and Christian Eriksen, no transfer fee involved, of course. And I think ultimately the decision of where Eriksen plays next season will come down to Christian Eriksen. Frankie de Jong is the one we've been talking about for the past 2 or 3 weeks. United remain in talks with Barcelona over the signing of the Dutch international midfielder. The clubs are still apart in their valuations though. And the issue that United have got is that they didn't want to rush into this deal simply responding to any noise on social media that I mentioned before, only because that would play into the hands of Barcelona. If they rushed into that deal, Barcelona would think there's desperation here, let's put the price up. But I think United are still hopeful that they can strike a deal, and there is a growing belief that the player may want to reunite with Erik ten Hag. It's just at the moment, United will not be rushed. That's the mantra, I think.
It's quite a fine
because they've got other targets
between rushing things and actually getting the players in for the start of the season.
I think that with De Jong, it's a kind of a unique situation because Barcelona have got much publicised financial problems, And United are aware of that. So are they going to play on the fact that Barcelona have got these issues? Whereas Barcelona know that United could be desperate to bring in a central midfielder. It is their number one priority. Are they going to play on that? It's a kind of game of brinkmanship at the moment, and I think something is going to have to meet in the middle. Otherwise, United are prepared to walk away from this deal if they don't get the reasonable price that they're after.
If they don't get the reasonable price that they're after, they will walk away from this deal. Again, make sure to tell the press that more often so then Barcelona hears it, so they really worry that we're not going to pay top ticket.
Who's
now,
feeding
here's
them
the
that?
deal.
Who's feeding them that info,
Now,
by the way?
I know, exactly. So here's the deal. If you want to make Barcelona sweat, you sign like a youngster for like 20.
Right.
You sign Eriksen for free. You tell them to pound sand, and then you show up on the last day and you get De Jong for 45 plus 20. Something like that, because you have to walk away. Negotiation starts with no, sir. You know it. That's how it is. Not maybe. We still want them. It's got to be a no, and you got to go a different direction. Then Barcelona will want to sell for cheap at the end of the window. You can't start this haggling with Barca straight out of the gate because they're willing to wait.
And also, the way United does it is like you said, the best way to do it and show them that you have other options is to like go sign other options. You know, United fans know we need multiple midfielders. We need players everywhere, and we certainly need them in midfield after we lost 3 midfielders at the end of this season. So the best way you do it is showing that you have options in the window by going and splashing cash elsewhere. But instead, what does Manchester United do? They feed their pressers and they tell them, United will not overpay. We are prepared to walk away. It's the same playbook I've seen every fucking time. So I know we have a new CEO. He's just the same as the old CEO.
It's a meme.
Just a little fatter, but it's literally like that's what they did with Sancho. That's what they did with Eri. That's what they did with Paul Pogba. Oh, we're not going to overpay. We have other options. We are prepared to walk away. We are not going to overpay, and it's gone because we overpaid.
Or they just don't do the deal. But here from Fabrizio Romano, the latest was yesterday. Manchester United and Barcelona have been in direct contact with Frankie de Jong today. No agreement on fee. Barca won 86 million euros. They want it fully guaranteed. Because of the La Liga rules to reinvest money, it has to be guaranteed. They want it guaranteed. We tried 60-something and 10, I think. We tried to tiptoe. There's money there. We can bring the players in. There's plenty of money, but we won't pay it. And that is where you start to see the tea leaves not making a lot of sense at Manchester United because there's money, but there's not that much money to then buy one player for that amount. And that's what we were thinking. We could get him for 50, 60, maybe some add-ons, put it on the back end, pay over time, put it on the credit card, 0 interest, no money down.
Interest
That's what
going
we're
up,
looking
baby.
here. Manchester United.
Bye. Everything's
Like, that's
free.
what we are. Put it on
you
the
want
credit
Tony
card.
Martial?
But
Take
there's-
him.
But there's
AWB?
plenty of money. But there's
Oh.
plenty of money. But I look at your financials. You're a public company, not plenty of money, and we're acting like we're saying there's plenty of money, and we're acting like there isn't plenty of money. And your financials say there isn't a lot of money. So this is where we're at with De Jong. Looking at De Jong, getting into the scouting report here, sir. We obviously talk about him a lot. I thought it was good to look at some stats where he excels, where he doesn't. As far as his top stat per Football Reference is progressive passes received. He's 95th percentile. Progressive carries, 94th percentile. And then pass completion percentage, 92nd percentile. So that's where he is really excelling. Attempted passes, he's low in the 83rd percentile. He has 62 per 90. His shot total for a midfielder is in the 27th percentile. He does not take a lot of shots, but he does have a great expected non-penalty goal and assist record. He has 0.31 non-penalty goals XG plus X assists in the 93rd percentile. So he does create. He's great, accurate passer of the ball, but his tackles, 8th percentile, pressures, 3rd percentile, interceptions, 10th percentile, blocks, 3rd percentile of midfielders, clearances, aerials, 1. He is not good at defending. He is good at receiving the ball, passing the ball, and creating chances. How is this going to help our abysmal backline?
I mean, he's a deep lying playmaker, and I've been reading into him because it seems like this is our summer signing. This is the signing we're going after. He's not a CDM. He's a deep lying playmaker, and he likes to play with either box-to-box players in front of him or 2 attacking players in front of him. So that would make sense with the whole Eriksen play where you play De Jong in the back and then Bruno and maybe Eriksen, or you play Fred and Bruno in front of him. But like you said, it puts more pressure on our back line. It puts more pressure on Harry Maguire and Raphael. I can start every other game, Varane, and the fullbacks as well, which we know are an issue. I hate to bring up the Scouse Bastards, but they have a top-tier front office. They have the best fullbacks in the league, and they literally bought backups for £20 million in aggregate, left and right, within the first fucking month of the transfer window. And that's the kind of shit we need to be doing, because obviously we're a sell-to-buy kind of club. We're not buying a left back until we sell Tellus. We're not buying a right back until we sell AWB. That may be fine, but like once you sell a player, even if you get some money from them, they know you have money, so they're going to demand more, whereas you buy ahead just for redundancy. But either way, this is the way that he wants to play, apparently. I mean, we have to believe in Erik ten Hag. He's the only one, I think, in the footballing operation that has any expertise that I have any confidence in, because the rest of them are not qualified to be there, and honestly, they don't give me any self-belief. But if he wants to play with Frankie as kind of his playmaker, pulling the strings as the last midfielder in the heap, so be it. It's going to be very difficult to do in the Premier League, given the speed of play and the physicality, but hey, Harry Maguire is £80 million, and he plays well for England sometimes, so we'll see.
No, it's a critical position. I really do think so. You heard from Sky Sports, we commented on it. It's really De Jong and Eriksen. Eriksen to make up his mind. You assign those two players, fix the midfield. You fix the biggest problem at United. You know, I do think Varane is probably not going to have as bad of an injury record as he had last year. At least I hope. You have Lindelof, you have Maguire. You should be able to get a competent back line. You got to make a movement at right back. Delo and AWB are not going to cut it. You can get away with Shaw and Tellus 100%.
Yep.
Delo can go left and right, and then you just got to get rid of AWB and put somebody at right back. You get Eriksen and De Jong in. You're talking about a team with Fred and Bruno in the middle of the park in different combinations together can unlock Marcus, Sancho, Ronaldo, insert winger here as far as Ahmad, Chong, Facundo, or Anthony, who we're linked with. And then you're starting to see a team that could play better than last year. So Ten Hag, I think, is right. I think these moves are pertinent. They're good moves. And you think of getting Eriksen on a free and De Jong for $80 million. You get the 2-for-1 special. No money down. 0% finance until 2024. Manchester United midfield.
Give it
right
away.
here.
Give it away.
And that's where we're at, because I actually do like, and guess who's our director of football? Erik ten Hag. And you know what?
That's fine.
He's right. And it is fine, but Murtaugh needs to get it done. And so don't tell me we can't offer Christian Eriksen enough money where he'll say yes, because Cavani left on big money, Pogba left on big money. We could put together a wage package he can't say no to, and he's coming to link up with Erik ten Hag. These two players, I'm excited, and then you could be opportunistic at right back, at striker, at the wing position for United. I like where this is headed. Latest on the Eriksen deal, per Romano, this came out yesterday. Brentford are not giving up. After they submitted a bid, Thomas Frank confirms, we'll hope he'll decide in 2 weeks. He called me and he will call me and tell me what he wants to do. Manchester United have confirmed their interest to his agent last weekend. So that's where Eriksen is. He is going to decide over the next couple of weeks. I hope we get Eriksen, because if you look at his stats at Football Ref against midfielders, 99th percentile in assists, XG and assists, and shot creating actions. He's unbelievable. 93rd percentile in progressive passes. For free, you are getting a top tier midfielder at Manchester United, and also 97th percentile in shots, 2.1 per 90 minutes. He is a stud of a player, Christian Eriksen, and we should be getting him for 2 to 3 years. This is a player on a free. De Jong stats, okay. This guy, out of his mind.
And Premier League proven at a club
Yes.
that Brentford, not a top tier club. He played very well. The thing that makes me the most excited about Eriksen is we need more leadership at the team. We lost Mata, we lost Matic, we lost Eddie. We know the other guys to the left are not leaders, but he provides some leadership in addition to the Ronaldos of the world, the De Geas, the Varanes. I like what he offers, right in the sweet spot, a little bit over the hill, but he's got legs in him still. Obviously had the health scare given what happened at the Euros, but I think he's got the right type of personality. It will be an indictment on this club. Spurs have distanced themselves from the Eriksen race. They are out, apparently. They have prioritizations elsewhere. If he chooses Brentford over Manchester United, that ain't a great sign.
I'm feeling good about this one. So as far as United is concerned, I'm feeling like we're going to get De Jong. We'll pay full ticket just because we're
We always do.
Murtaugh and Arnold just can't handle it. They're just can't handle the hot seat. They're just going to pay. And then Eriksen, I think there's a good chance we can get him because Ronaldo, etc. Who wouldn't want to come? And obviously Ten Hag. And then that would be a good position. I mean, I know we are complaining. I'm more frustrated with the front office,
Speed.
how everything's being run at United. But you look at Ten Hag, you go coach down, and you start getting players like this in, and I'm like, okay, there are parts there that Ten Hag can work with, right? I really am excited if we can get these two players in, fix the midfield here.
It's workable for next year. You got
It is.
those two. You got Fred.
But we're overpaying for De Jong. You have to say
course, 60 million player.
You look at how he's played. You look at the stats. You're overpaying for De Jong, but you're underpaying for Eriksen. You're getting a deal with Eriksen. And so sometimes if you need these two to fix it, you might have to overpay for one and get a better deal on another to make it work. And that's good business. So stop haggling.
And he's your guy. He's a real manager. He's the first real manager we've had since Jose. You have to kind of give him his marquee signing to start the window. Let's get him. Just get him in because, like I said, training is like 2 weeks away, less than. Then they're going to be leaving for
And you
tour.
know you have to get him in before you go to preseason.
Of course you do.
got to get
You
his
have
play
to because you want to have him
It's like-
integrate with the team when they go on
That's
tour
like the number
because
one
it's team
priority.
building, it's morale building, it's important, especially if it's your marquee signing for the summer.
It's everything.
Day late, dollar short FC, sir.
I know.
Who we buying? Who's from Watford? Who's this guy?
So yeah,
Backup keeper. We signed a backup keeper
Romano
every summer.
tweeted today, United are in talks with Watford to sign Daniel Bachmann as the second/third goalkeeper. Tom Heaton Light, we're going to call him here. Watford only want a permanent deal. Bachmann is among options for Manchester United to replace Dean Henderson, who's one step away from joining Nottingham Forest. Apparently, Forest wants a buy option in the loan deal. United denying them that. That is the hang-up here. Why don't we just sell him? I don't know. I'm not a part of this.
We're not gonna. We can't sell players. We just loan them, pay half their wages, and then
let
they
them go
come
on a
back.
free.
Come back like a whipped dog.
Also, we've been linked to Anthony at Ajax, £40 million move here. Again, another winger United are considering buying. This one comes to Ten Hag. You look at the attacking midfielder / winger stats he has compared to everyone around. Football Reference last year, his stats per 90 minutes, his non-penalty XG, 69th percentile. His shots, 99th percentile. So what is that telling you? He's shooting a lot.
Assists, though.
Speculatively. Assists, 99th percentile. X-assists, 96th percentile.
It's the Dutch league, though. To be fair,
Progressive passes received, he gets the ball a lot, 99th percentile. Progressive passes, 91st percentile. Look, he has good assists. I watched a bunch of emo highlight videos. The good thing, he has interceptions. He's 98th percentile on interceptions. Interesting on the wing. So
rate.
he does do a good job defensively. For me, this is just a bad deal. This is a bad deal. You don't.
Depay,
need
is this
to-
Depay 2.0?
I'll tell you what. So I went to Ajax and watched Ajax PSV
And it was
years
Eriksen.
ago. Years
I
ago, and
believe
I'm
it-
old. And Christian Eriksen was at Ajax, and I'll tell you, I watched the game, and I was like, this guy is on another planet compared to everyone else on this field. Like, you could tell. He was just better than everyone. Goes to Tottenham, and has an amazing career other than the health scare.
But it took him a year or two to acclimate to the Premier League. To be fair, remember that.
No, absolutely. But he's a player. He's a baller.
He's a top player.
Anthony doesn't stick out the same. I was watching his highlights and being like, Depay's highlights were better. Like you saw Depay, the
mods were better.
The separation he had, like he was like you watch him, but it was the story of the young gun coming in, too much hype, can't handle it. You know, like this Anthony guy, I just don't get it. I mean, these stats are good, but it's the Dutch league, so you got to put a serious haircut to all these numbers. I'm based on the emo videos I've watched, the emo highlight reels, I'm not too stoked here. I get the appeal of having Sancho on the left, Ronaldo up top, and then insert new player here on the right. He did look sharp on the right in the Dutch league. Does that translate to the EPL? Not next season. Not next season.
When you've signed 3 right wingers over the last 2 transfer windows for a combined, let's call it $120 million pounds. I think you have to like go through preseason, give those players a shout. We should get like a workman rate number 9. Like I just think we need a number 9 that can slot in behind Ronaldo because he can't play every game. We got Hans and Franz Cup, so he's going to need his legs.
I think you need
number 9. Like, let's give a chance of either Facundo or Mod or Garnacho or Elanga, one of those 4, instead of buying another player for 40
Well,
million
you got
pounds.
Tony Martial, so that's,
There you go. Wow, world-class player.
So
who's buying Tony Martial?
The way we're thinking about it, and I think this is why we're considering a right winger. I've come around on this, is because Sancho's going to be the starter on the left. You have Rashford, who has a question mark around him, right? And then you're going to have Ronaldo at number 9, and he can't play every single game. So my idea is the depth chart behind Ronaldo would be like a Rashford Martial situation. The right should be Mason Greenwood, right? Greenwood should be the right winger for this season. He would, obviously, we know he's not, and probably will never play for United ever again. So you almost need that locked-on starter on the right. It's not Rashford. It's not Martial. It's not Sancho. You could play Sancho there, but then Rashford's on the left, and then you start getting this whole like, okay, he didn't turn out, then Elanga, and then you kind of there's no like locked-on player to dominate the right wing for Manchester United. And when you think about Ronaldo and the fact Rashford can play 9 and Martial can play 9, then that right wing position, who can really play it? You know, you might even you could put Dalot there, have a punt. It's not where he should be, but we don't have a lockdown.
Too much
play.
pressure. Garnacho, he's not ready. Facundo and Ahmad, they can't even get minutes. They might get sold. Who the fuck?
Yeah,
knows
but you
what's
know what
going
I'm
on?
saying. We
No,
have
totally.
a gap there. It's kind of become apparent where you're like, you can play these guys at 9, but then you look at the right, and it's not locked on anyone's role, and that's where So Anthony, if you got Anthony,
Good price. If you got him for a decent price, though, they're going to
the
charge
40
top dollar.
You get Anthony, you get De Jong, you get Eriksson, and then a right back, sir. We're in business. We're doing business.
Well, I'll tell you what, sir. Here's the thing. I don't know if you caught it in the news, but Ronaldo's like not thrilled with the progress that Manchester United has shown in terms of the level of ambition in the transfer market. He is not happy about it for good reason. He wants to win, and based on the fact that like we're getting outshined by Arsenal, by Spurs, by City, by Liverpool, like he's a little concerned. And you know what? He's a fan. He loves his club, but he's also not an idiot. And he knows that like a club with top ambition that had the fucking worst finish that they've had since the 70s would have a number of transfers lined up, ready to go as soon as the window opens.
Well, he was told that by who? Richard Arnold.
Lion.
Murtaugh. He's waiting in the wings. All right, the last part of the Muppetry we're going to get to, because we cover all Muppetry, and this is textbook Muppetry. Here on Twitter, @Struds1972, he tweets, quote, "Really great to see so many professional football players posting videos of how hard they work during the offseason. Why not commit 100% the other 48 weeks of the year when the club's support staff are there? Then have a well-deserved break. Like my man, Jack Grealish, getting absolutely fired up, toasted in Vegas."
Fucked up.
Why would I be talking about this tweet? Because Mike Phelan retweeted it.
And he's getting the boot.
And of course he's getting the boot. But what is this? You talk about the tea leaves. Mike Phelan tweeting this whole like, you're working on social media to look good. Who comes to mind when he retweets this? What is this?
Well, Marcus put out a video. Sancho put out a video. I mean,
Marcus has been putting out a ton
Marcus
of
and Sancho.
workout
Like,
videos.
look how much workout I'm doing. Yeah,
he's like,
it's all about the
working
gram,
out.
baby. It's all about the gram.
I know, but like Phelan's calling him out. You down tools for 7 months at United.
Walk around, show no effort. Honestly,
Rashford
Rashford was one of the biggest disappointments of the season.
You told the fan to go F off.
That was
You
bad.
act like a brat, and then now you're posting all these like workout hype videos. Like,
Yeah.
spare me.
It's about right.
Do it on the pitch.
It's about right.
And so when Phelan retweets this, it's kind of showing you what was going on behind the scenes, because there was players that absolutely gave up at United. And when you're saying who could it be,
We know who it is. It's not the players that are gone. It's the
it's
players
probably.
that...
I think this is a shot at Rashford.
Without a
You know?
doubt.
I think Sancho was off and on. He was coming back. I think Rashford, the one who was like,
The work rate was unbelievable. Like the lack of effort from Rashford was embarrassing. And you know what? The whole team had an embarrassing season. But like for a player that's
we're
a
back.
Manchester United red
Hype
through
videos.
and through, he did a whole lot of walking.
He does look yoked in the videos, though. I have to say, they work.
Looks more yoked than us.
Like the
He's
yoke,
sweating like we're sweating in this
I'll
pod
tell
room,
you,
bro.
when he works out, like they do the off-season workout videos, but it's like I like feeling getting the shots in. As
Sir,
he's
you
on the way
watching?
out the door.
Speaking of,
I want a
like,
Mike Phelan debrief.
Yeah. Speaking of, are you watching the Poggymentary, sir?
Oh, I was
the 5-part series
sorry.
about Paul Pogba.
Have you,
I'm good.
so you have. I was like, I'm gonna make you watch that.
I'm good, bro. I'm
and
good.
give a review.
I'm good. Here's the review. Don't watch it, dude. I heard it was like keeping up with the Pogbas. It's just like, you know.
I can imagine that that Pogba would think he's like basically by filming this documentary, everyone's gonna think that I'm really great, and it just shows you everything you thought about Paul Pogba. It's like you said it best in the pod. Paul Pogba cares about Paul Pogba, and Paul Pogba. The concept of the whole team thing, like him pulling up at Liverpool, that was pretty much
9 minutes in. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. Season's over.
Hey, sometimes that's the way you go. And then he's not available for Crystal Palace when he was healthy. Fan questions here. At M. Hersey, quote, United struggle in the transfer market with any game plan towards strengthening the areas needing improving. Aside from Bruno, I can't remember a player that's really had any impact. How do we fix this? Do you think Ten Hag and company can fix the issue? Well, you heard it from Arnold's mouth at the pub. I think Ten Hag's telling Murtaugh who to buy. And so that gives us some hope. The question is how much money is out there and how much can we really afford to fix this summer? I said it would have to be multiple summers, but the fact that like we have an incompetent director of football who travels around Europe and meets people to figure out how to do his job, and then now is like asking the manager who to sign. Like the director of football should literally be able to like know what the hell he's doing. So you go to Ten Hag and be like, "Hey man, Frankie's not worth it. We're going here." Like, and you're going to deal with it, and like be like, "This is the midfielder you're going to use." That's a director of football. The director of football gives bad news to the manager saying, you can't get who you want, and it's this guy because we're not going to overpay for De Jong. And instead, it's reversed where Murtaugh's literally just doing Ten Hag's bidding, and that might save us in the end, ironically.
I mean, the more power they give to Erik ten Hag, probably the better. But like you said, this club, it's a storied club. We've won more titles than any other team in England. And at the end of the day, all the people put in a position of power other than the manager, like, have never done it before. Like, that's like an incredible concept. Like, hey, pick some dude off the street. You want to be the CEO of Manchester United? Like, you've done public accounting at big companies for 20 years. You can probably do it. Like, think about that. Like, it's basically like we're like giving out raffle tickets. Like, you can be a fucking executive at this club. And that is insane. Because like I said,
The sad part is there's people that would do that. The sad part is there's people like Richard Arnold that just do these jobs where it's just like
he gets paid $2 million a year to be the CEO of this club.
No, I know, but this
bro.
is something.
Like,
there's something. It's
he's
business.
over his skis. He's over his skis.
Football clubs should be in the winning business. It's the winning business, not the sponsors business. That's what they don't understand. This is the winning business. It's not
sponsors come and
sponsorships.
go, baby. Sponsors come and go.
Exactly.
It's like
that's the whole thing. It's
a
about
lagging
winning.
indicator about your success.
And if you're not in the winning business, then the sponsorship business ain't gonna go well.
You ain't in business.
Exactly. And if you're not in the winning business, then the plebeians start getting out their pitchforks and they start yelling at the sponsors and they start coming to your house and you got to go to the pub and ramble on like a nut. All right, next tweet here. The Alex Davis 33. New manager, no Woodward. Same results in the transfer market. It's almost as if the real problem is the one consistent over the last decade. Meanwhile, if anyone needs me, my Newton Heath FC squad are gunning for their third straight promotion on FIFA. Congrats on promotion in FIFA. And it's true. Hashtag Glazers out. They're the real problem here. At Beebs Oomph Pod, quote, okay, can everyone just calm down? The transfer window has been open for what, a week? I think if De Jong gets done like it's supposed to, we could see a few more in rather quickly. The rest of the transfer plan seems to hinge on one signing. Do you agree?
I mean,
question mark?
It seems to be I'm Ron Burgundy. It seems like he has his heart set on Frankie. You know what? I have my skepticism, but I want to believe. The only thing that gives me confidence is Erik ten Hag. I like his CV. I like his intensity. I like the way that he lines up his teams for Ajax. So I want to believe in who he's trying to sign. That being said, the sooner we get players in, the faster we can reprioritize other initiatives that are important in squad building, because we know that this club can only do one transfer at a time, which is the most absurd concept of all time when you consider that there's 11 positions for a team, and then you need like a backup for every single position, and then we need a shit ton of players. We need 10. I'll stick with that all day. Ralph Rangnick is absolutely right. And we can only do one at a time. Like, that is fucking
But he knows.
madness.
There's something about knowing a player. Like he knows De Jong. I think that matters a little bit, where you don't have to do so much diligence. All that diligence that now the front office is doing that they weren't doing before. All the stats, and we got smart guys now doing
I'm just
all this
saying,
work.
the
I can
longer
only
we take
imagine
on
the
this
room.
one, the less time we have for the next signings. Right? Like, because we can't do more than one at a time, it seems. We can do one sale. We're doing what's it called? A Hendo loan deal. And we're working on Frankie. And like, until we sell, loan Hendo, and then maybe buy Frankie, we can't move on to the next sell or the next buy.
Well, I think the whole "can everyone calm down" is probably right in the fact where we just want red meat and we just want bodies. But there is an extra amount of urgency around, look at how last year ended, look at what Rangnick said, Woodward's out, look at the financials, look at what the Glazers are doing. They're like lying. They didn't do the fan share scheme or anything like that. There's a lot of pressure around Manchester United. I think this is a critical moment that if the board doesn't commit to fixing this team in the right way, which should include upgrading the training ground facilities, stop taking the dividend, put money into the club, upgrade the stadium, rebuild the squad that needs to be rebuilt. And if they just keep kind of kicking the can, how long before everyone starts freaking out? So I think there's multiple factors why fans are like visibly upset via social media. I think most people on social media are just general muppets like you and me, but I'm more concerned about the balance sheet, the financials, the long-term investment and viability of this ownership, which I don't think is there. And all I'm using is this transfer window to show you, hey, once again, I said we're not going to sign Sancho that summer because we didn't have the money. You look at how much money we have. That De Jong ticket is a big ticket for us. That's
most of it.
That's a solid chunk of it. And if they want it up front, you're going to have no money down, no interest financing.
Martial, yours, one-time offer.
Yeah, it's gonna be a literally like, do you want a number 9, or do you want a new number 9, or do you want Martial? And Ten Hag's gonna have to say, okay, I'll use Martial and just get me Frankie. And those are the types of trade-offs that are gonna be had because the balance sheet's like gravity. And you know what? It's up to Erik Ten Hag to make those calls. And I actually think next season will be better than this one. Champions League, don't count on it. But as far as seeing better football than we saw last year, I really do think Ten Hag's gonna get us playing a lot better if he can get a few key players in. So I am optimistic. I just think we should stop messing around and start getting things done. Next tweet here, Dynasty Dog 11. We're gonna end on this note. He says, "quote Everyone's hanging on their seats for this one. As far as the transfer updates concerned, we covered it all." The Arnold meltdown, the transfer news, even though there's no news, the Muppets have plenty to talk about as it relates to Manchester United's state of this club. We appreciate everyone for listening to the podcast. Quick update on the Glazers Out scarves. They sent us the scarves. The manufacturer printed the wrong knit quality, so they're not as awesome as the ones we got before. So I'm in process of figuring that out with them. So the Glazers Out scarves are on hold. I will tell you guys when they're back on. If you like the podcast, please complete our end of the season survey. It's pinned on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. Join our Discord. Link on our website. Website is www.americanreddevils.com. We have great merchandise there as well. Sir, we got to get our top 10 downloads last 7 days.
Sir, I am sweating like Richard Arnold at the pub. I am. It's going to be a hot, long summer. Hopefully the signings start rolling in. We know they won't. But damn, it's sticky in here.
Well, I mean, you got two New Jerseyans bloviating about the club that they love.
I like that word.
There you go. Let's
words.
go. Okay, top 10 downloads. Last 7 days. Take it out.
Number 1, how you doing? Beverly Hills, California.
Woo.
Bougie. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Upper Arlington, Ohio, OH. Jacksonville, Florida. Blackpool, UK. Chicago, Illinois. Columbus, OH. Latham, New York, Mesa, Arizona, and last but not least, Hialeah, Florida.
One more time.
Hialeah, Florida. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We could not do it without
I bet you they have good blood sausage in Blackpool.
I guarantee it. I love big black sausage guy. As long as they're not dried out, sir. Can't wait to go back to England. We should, next time we do the pod, we walk through some of the games. The schedule's out for next year, sir. It's going to be a long one.
Let's put it this way. I'm not that pumped about the schedule unless we can sort this team.
Honestly. Who's the easiest team we
tell
play?
me how many 4:30 a.m. games are as far as
unconfirmed at this point. But a lot to look forward to. Always darkest before the dawn. I'm going to try and be as optimistic as possible around Eric and his initiatives.
Dude, we get Eriksson and DeYoung. I'm pumped. Because for me, I've been beating the midfield drum for 2 years. You get those two players in, I'm going to be excited to see how Ten Hag wants to do it. I think.
Let's go. Get it done.
All right, we're going to leave you with a great one. Our tickets are in the Stretford end. It is arising and will be arising all year next year. Everybody have a great week. We'll get you another Transfer Uptree Pod Wednesday. Let's hope some deals are done.
Say